Taking a while to kick in.
Yeah. So little black keys for the love of money.
Yeah.
I stopped it early. I should have just like kept it with that smooth feeling, but hey, y'all.
Hello. It's week 5. I had to think about it for a second because last week was weird. So I'm in this weird place where I'm not sure what week it is. Yeah, week 5. Uh, and let's see, where are we at this point? You have
Quiz 3
quiz 3 coming up. That should pop
soon.
up today at noon. So you may already have it popped up by the time this gets to you. Uh, that will be due on the night of Sunday, February 12th at 11 p.m. Uh, that is only covering the material that you got from Professor McIntosh this week. Similarly to how the quiz last week only covered my material. I would suggest that you do your best to get this one turned in on time because we don't have a lot of wiggle room for anybody who may need to have their mulligan because next week we have exam number 1 and as such we'll need to get your quizzes back to you so that you have those grades before you take that exam.
We're gonna have the first study session for the exam 1 is gonna be Monday the 13th, and it's gonna be during my office hour from 1 to 2. It'll be me doing that session. That is the only time that I've got available. I can't do it Monday night because my son is in Boy Scouts. I just can't. They're getting ready for the Pinewood Derby stuff. So that is the only time that I'm available on Monday, and I'm not available at all on Tuesdays. So that I recognize that students are going to be like, damn, that's like in the middle of the day. It's going to be done via Zoom. I'll make sure that there's a post that goes out Monday morning for anyone who wants to attend. Just log into the Zoom. My Zoom is acting up. Jason can tell you it's not letting me have meetings for longer than 40 minutes, even if it's just like one person in the room. So something's going on. I don't really know. So I'm going to try and make sure that I'm available for as long as I can. It should be available. Now, if no one shows up, that's different, but it may only be 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Do not feel as if you can't come to my office hours or Jason's office hours to ask questions or send us emails too if the times that we're sending or I should say scheduling for these study sessions aren't convenient. It was just a really bad organization of time that I just can't do it any other time than
Yeah,
this
I think
one.
we're both in similar situations currently. The second the second study session. Let me explain really quickly. I am on a regimen right now of anti-inflammatories and muscle relaxers. And my tongue is a muscle. So I've been having some problems today. I'm feeling a whole lot better than I was, probably because I'm nice and drugged up. But it does mean that I'm noticing my tongue like does its thing. The second study session will be with me
On Valentine's
on
Day, Single
Valentine's
Person
Day.
Awareness Day,
Yeah.
Kill Your Lover Day, whatever you want.
At 5 o'clock p.m. That's kind of the best time I can do. My wife is traveling that day, so and won't be home until late in the evening. So I don't have anything going on Valentine's night, but I didn't want to put it too late because my wife will be home at some point later in the evening. So I didn't want to do a nighttime session. So 5 o'clock is when I have it set. If you can make it, wonderful. You'll have me available that you can ask any of the questions you have for me when it comes to the exam. My plan is to keep it for about an hour. My child may make an appearance because she'll most likely be doing her homework or something like that at the same time that I'm recording. Yeah, and so if you do come, I didn't realize you were making your notification pop up on Monday morning. I have
Yep,
mine
and you're
set to
supposed to
pop
go
up
on
on,
Tuesday.
huh?
Yours is supposed to go up on Tuesday.
Well, I set it to post on Friday morning, but I can move it. I was trying to give like plenty of notice with it. Um, but yeah, it'll pop up. There'll be a link for the Zoom. If you find yourself having any trouble getting into Zoom, like email me because I'll be at my computer, of course. Come with your questions. These study sessions, the way we try to hold them is we're not just like blanketly giving out information, but if you've got specific questions, whether it be about the format of the quiz itself, I'm sorry, the exam, or if it be questions about essay topics or what to sort of expect there, come and ask those. Don't just sort of sit and stare at us and expecting us to sort of give you the info. And I don't
Also,
know.
don't come to the study session and ask us questions about the format of the exam when we've already provided that to you in
Oh
the
yes, that is
syllabus and also in the English 202 facts, because we end up having to repeat that so many times because people drop in as they're available. How many questions are in the multiple choice?
yeah,
How many exams? Like, you guys have that. All
yeah.
right. You have that information in the syllabus itself where it says exams. And then you also have it in that English 202 document. Even if you didn't watch the videos where we attempted to explain those, you have it. You already know. So it would help streamline the process of you guys like coming with specific questions you need our clarification on or some further explanation. If you're trying to brainstorm about like what I could possibly ask as far as the literature, like, yeah, come with those questions. Otherwise, it's just going to be silence like this.
Mhm.
So just
Eh,
come with questions.
yeah. If there's anything that you were struggling with the material, I honestly prefer those kinds of questions sometimes to just, so what is the essay question going to be?
It'll be a
I love when
question
it's, yeah,
that
I love
has
when
two prompts in it.
yeah. But when a student is like, hey, I'm struggling with whatever, I'm struggling with the Baroque art, what are you talking about with all this emotional stuff? Like, I'll answer those questions. If we were in the classroom, you'd have plenty of opportunities to ask those kinds of questions.
It's just with 65 of you guys, it makes it hard to make our 10 hours of office hours work for all of you to answer these questions. So we try and do these study sessions to give students who have the time to ask their questions. And then we take those videos of the sessions and we distribute it to the whole class, because sometimes you may come to a study session and we explain it and you're like, yeah, that makes complete sense. And then you leave and you're like, I know none of those things. Those were words, but I no longer know how they work together. But then you have access to the video and you're like, damn, I did know that. Or maybe
Yeah.
it's just explained in a different way and you're like, I finally get it. I didn't the other times, but I do today. And that way you have access to it before you take the exam. All right. So the exam is going to go live for you guys Wednesday, the 15th at 12 p.m. And you will have from that moment until Sunday, the 19th, I think.
Yep.
Yes. So don't feel like you need to wait till Sunday night to do your exam. All right. We make it to
Exactly.
where you get an extra day so you have more time to do it in a time that works best for your schedule. All right. So keep that in mind. Also, when you come across the exam, if you all of a sudden just go like completely blank when you read the words that are in our prompts, do not feel like you can't just send us an email and ask for clarification,
Yeah.
because you can. Now, if
Yeah.
you're doing it at 2 in the morning, like, all right, I probably won't be able to assist you at 2 in the morning. And
Yeah.
if I were available, which I could be, I may not be like in a good place mentally. I could be extremely tired, or maybe I've made some bad life choices.
Yeah. Or in my case, the heavy dose of muscle relaxers is taken at bedtime. So I won't be available at 2 a.m. rather.
I do stay up past my bedtime a lot. I don't have a bedtime because at the end of the day, like, I'm only alive for a limited amount of time, so I'm not going to sleep. Also anxiety and
Yeah.
insomnia.
I'm see,
My
I'm like
coping mechanism is books.
yeah. I'm like on the other end of that spectrum where I'm like, those parts of my life where I'm unconscious, those are enjoyable times. My body is at rest. I enjoy dreaming because my dreams are usually give me ideas for stuff then that I want to do later. Although weirdly, the medication last night was giving me a dream
Please no. Can we?
where
Nope.
just no, just if you want to talk about anxiety inducing, where for some reason I kept dropping my phone. I would drop it, I would watch it burst and fall into a million pieces on the ground. And then in my panic of like, oh my God, how did that happen? I'd look and see it fully formed again on a table. I'd be like, oh, well, that's cool. And I'd pick it up and instantly drop it again. And when I woke up this morning, like the first thing I did was like check to make sure it was on the table. I I have weird reactions to medication. It's just a thing. Um, but yeah, the point being is that I most likely will not be available to you if you're taking this thing at like 2 a.m. But you can still email. Like I'll email back whenever I'm able.
Also,
Uh,
please make sure you're emailing the right professor.
mhm.
So if it's a prompt that says clear as day, Professor McIntosh's prompt, don't email Cole.
Yeah.
That no offense, but like all he's gonna do is like, I don't know, that's not my question. Let me include Macintosh in this email. And then it's like you added some steps that don't need to be there, you know?
Mhm.
If you want fast like responses, hit up the person's prompts or the person who wrote the prompt.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
you're in a better shape. I don't email me asking me if I can understand what Jason wrote, because I just had to listen to him talking about his dreams. You really honestly think I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm in it. I know 100% what he's asking for here. Just put that out there. We've been doing this for a little bit. I can kind
Yeah.
of sort of see where his mind's going, but at the same time, it's like I have my own things to deal with. I'm not
Yeah.
even going to try and
I,
traverse the mind of Cole.
yeah. And similarly, I don't want to try to in any way advise you as to what might be the right direction to go for a question that Professor McIntosh has written.
Yeah, he just told you he was on muscle relaxers.
Yeah.
Like, why would you contact him to try and figure out what my prop says? Because he just told you he's not doing okay with these meds. I'm not saying you're diminished in any way, shape, or form, Jason, but you're
Actually
having
doing quite well in
yeah,
many regards.
you are doing
Um,
fantastic with all that you've been doing.
so, but also, you do want to set aside for yourself. It's going to be longer than a quiz.
It's an
We
hour
we
and 15 minutes.
yeah we sort of design it as if you would have been taking it in the class, and in the class you'd have had an hour and 15 minutes. So set aside for yourself that, and if you work a little more slowly, no judgments, maybe set aside a couple of hours for yourself. Don't put pressure yourself to try to crank this thing out in like 15 minutes. You need more time than that.
You have a quiz 3 that opens here in just a little bit. For me, it's going to be 100% my content. So you want to make sure that you are ready to go. That opens today, this Thursday, February 9th, at 12 p.m., aka noon, aka lunchtime, and it will close Sunday the 13th by 11 p.m.
Yep.
So make sure that you have it completed and submitted by then. Professor Cole, I believe, may have sort of mentioned this. I don't recall. That we will have the quiz answer keys. Did you say that earlier?
No, I hadn't had a chance to talk about that.
I know you were talking about like we don't have a quick turnaround. So you will have answer keys for every version of quiz 1, 2, and 3. And those will be made available to you guys, I believe Tuesday is our goal.
Yeah.
So that way you have them to study. Obviously, you can have them and use them for when you're taking the exam. So yeah, we just want to make sure that we have that resource to you. Whenever you take the traditional lecture class, they just put the answer key on the board and then students are able to fix it and then they have their quizzes to study with.
But in their case, everyone took the same quiz.
Yeah.
Right here, you guys have taken 2 versions, and so you may not have had access to certain questions that could then come up on the exam. We want to make sure
to make sure you have those. But that should be coming to you guys Tuesday. I think in the past we've had it where it's like around midday. Tuesday is when the answer keys go live for you guys.
Because we'll need to on Monday make sure anyone who has not used their mulligan and needs to use their mulligan on that quiz gets theirs submitted, because we don't want answer keys floating out there while there's someone who still hasn't taken the quiz. And then yes, Tuesday, as soon as we are able, that will be available to you.
And then you'll have study sessions Monday with me from 1 to 2 p.m. On the 13th. Jason will have you at 5 p.m. on February 14th. And the exam goes live for you Wednesday. You have nothing else to do with us for next week except this exam. There's no new content. I mean, unless you didn't do any of the readings, good luck to you. But you don't have really anything that we're assigning that's new content. It's all going to be in prep for this exam.
I guess one last thing I would mention is take a look in the material that was sent out to you this week, because you should have been alerted to which group you're in when it comes to your creative projects, who is your advisor for the creative projects. So if you've gotten material that says you're in Professor McIntosh's group, then if you got any questions or you want any feedback on what you've done thus far, reach out to Professor McIntosh. And if you receive material that says you're in my group, then that same applies to me. Reach out to me should you have questions or want feedback or what have you. In just a few weeks, we'll be having the conferences. That's like right after we come back from spring break. Yeah. So if you haven't started, go ahead and get a start as soon as you can. That's all I can think of.
That's all I got. Do your quiz 3. Get ready for the exam next week. Yep. All right, I'm gonna play us out. Let me share my music here.
Okay.
I did this because it's an interesting cover by one of my favorite bands. So, I'm just gonna be quiet.
Okay. Hi, everyone.